25 Studios in Oklahoma City. This is the Fox 25 Late Edition.
A beautiful, nice sunny day for our Friday, but how long is the sunshine going to stick around?
Fox 25 Chief Meteorologist Jeff George has tonight's first weather. Jeff. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, rain is possible as we head into the weekend. Not guaranteed. What is guaranteed is that daylight saving time does start this weekend. We got to spring forward a lot of our least favorite weekends because technically we do lose an hour's sleep tomorrow night heading into Sunday morning. And, we'll get used to it. Sunset on Sunday, 7:34, and the days keep on getting longer and longer for the next 3 months. And also a good idea to change your batteries and your smoke detectors, weather radios, that kind of thing. Right now it's partly cloudy as we look live across Oklahoma City. We are heading down to 49 tonight, very cool and crisp. A cold front does come in tomorrow. That's why we have that chance of rain. So who gets the most and where is severe weather most likely? Your Storm Watch 7-day in just a few minutes.
A press conference just wrapped up by the California Highway Patrol in Napa County, California, following today's hostage situation at a veteran's home. And they did confirm the tragic news that the 3 hostages, as well as the gunman from that hostage situation today, were found dead. Now, the veterans are being allowed back into their homes. We do know that the 3 hostages were all females. The shooter was a male. They had not had contact with him since about 10:30 this morning local time there, so it did not look good from that standpoint. They are not releasing the identity, though, of the shooter at this point, as well as the hostages or a motive. So we're still waiting to learn those details. Once we learn those, we'll have those for you here on Fox 25 News.
Jennifer, thank you. Happening today around the metro, the Oklahoma Public Employees Association is planning a walkout of state workers along with the teachers next month. Executive Director Sterling Zierle says pay continues to shrink and core services are not funded. He's asking for $71 million in the budget to fund a pay raise. He says he doesn't understand why something has not been done for state workers.
I think it's kind of this point, I think people are tired of it. I mean, we all care about our public education system. We have a lot of state employees who service that community, and I think we're just tired of it.
The OPEA will have a board meeting tomorrow morning. They're going to discuss what employees can expect if they participate in that walkout.
Oklahoma lawmakers have 3 weeks to approve millions of dollars in new funding, or teachers will walk off the job. A big concern is the hundreds of thousands of children who depend on getting food at schools. The Regional Food Bank of Oklahoma is increasing its meal production and packing more family boxes full of food to meet the potential need. These organizations need the community to volunteer or donate to help them take care of Oklahoma's kids if there's a walkout.
I feel like the community is really rallying behind the teachers, honestly. I have yet to hear anybody say that they shouldn't be doing this. What I hear people say is, how can we help? How can we be there for the kids during this time?
If you want to help or you'd like more information about these programs, go to our website, okcfox.com. And the Oklahoma City VA Medical Center is working to raise its rating. Currently, they have a 3-star rating out of 5. The issue, the facility is lacking customer service. The VA will focus on keeping customer service consistent so people will have a good experience when they come to the facility.
It's the people in the facilities. They're great people, and then there are those bad apples that, no matter how hard you try, are going to affect the performance of the people around them.
The VA is working to change that rating, but it isn't something that can be turned around in just one day.
Right now, Oklahoma City police need your help finding this man. 35-year-old Dustin Cameron walked away from the Oklahoma City Transitional Center on February 7th. Cameron is described as 5 feet 11 inches tall, about 165 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. If you have any information, contact the escapee hotline, 866-363-1119. Police are still searching for the driver responsible for a hit and run that killed a woman. 43-year-old Claudia Mandel was found dead last Friday near the intersection of Reno and MacArthur. Police believe Mandel was hit by a 2003 to a 2006 Ford Expedition, gold in color. If you have any information, contact police. Police also need your help locating this man for questioning. Reports show Toby Pedford was driving the wrong way on I-235 when he hit another car head-on. OHP says Pedford was driving a 2015 Hyundai Genesis at the time of the crash. Both drivers were taken to the hospital. Pedford was treated and released. At last check, the other driver was in critical condition. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to call this number, 866-OHP-TIPS.
Drivers, be aware this weekend. Parts of I-235 will be narrowed for construction. This is a look at the construction zone from our Mother Nature drone cam. ODOT announced they will close one lane of both sides of the highway between 36th Street and I-44. That narrowing will start at 6 tomorrow morning and end Sunday night at 6. ODOT initially planned to completely close the roadway this weekend, but those plans were moved to early April. An illegal or undocumented immigrant accused of a deadly hit-and-run crash in Colorado may walk free tonight.
And federal immigration officials apparently can't do anything about it. Correspondent Alicia Acuna explains tonight from Denver.
Inside those flames is a 57-year-old man trapped inside the cab of his semi-truck, hit by a suspected drunk driver. Denver police say Ivan Zamaripa Castaneda ran from the crash, leaving the driver to die. Authorities say the 26-year-old is also in the U.S. illegally. U.S. Immigration and Customs agents want to deport him back to Mexico, but the Denver Sheriff Department, in charge of the jail, is refusing to detain him should he post the $25,000 bond, telling Fox News that unless ICE gets a federal criminal warrant, it, quote, will not honor civil detainers as it is considered unconstitutional. Denver and municipalities across Colorado have not honored civil detainers since around 2013, after the American Civil Liberties Union successfully sued one county on behalf of an illegal immigrant who was held on an ICE request.
It's a matter of basic constitutional law and due process.
Denver criminal defense attorney Chris Decker says the sheriff department isn't doing anything wrong, regardless of the crime.
And then saying because something's very serious, we want to just abandon all of our constitutional principles and do what's quote unquote right doesn't make any legal sense.
Don Rosenberg, whose son was killed by an illegal immigrant, sees it differently.
His rights don't supersede everybody else's right. And the first right, he's in the country illegally. He has no right whatsoever to be here.
If ICE can get a federal judge to sign a criminal warrant, Denver sheriff says it will hand him over. But ICE says it detains up to 40,000 people per day and doesn't have the resources to go after every federal warrant. Having to do so, ICE argues, puts the general public at risk.
By placing detainers on these individuals, we actually help improve public safety by taking these criminal aliens off the streets and ultimately removing them to their country of origin.
The Denver District Attorney's Office says if the suspect makes bond and ICE agents manage to grab him, there's nothing the DA can do except keep the case open. In Denver, Alicia Acuna, Fox News.
This weekend will mark the 100th anniversary of springing our clocks forward.
But instead of celebrating, many of us will be adjusting our body clocks.
On Sunday at 2 a.m., the time will advance instantly, but it will take longer for our body clocks to adjust. Losing 1 hour may not seem like much, but that small change can be a big deal for your health. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, many people aren't getting enough sleep to begin with. So the additional sleep shortage can lead to dangerous consequences. According to a Stanford University study, the Monday after the time shift is linked to an increase in tragic car accidents. That uptick averaged out from 2 decades of data. Also, adults who miss out on even 1 hour of sleep a day are more likely to report health problems like diabetes, depression, and heart disease. That's compared to those who get 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Experts suggest you use the time change to reset your sleep habits to make sure you get enough rest.
And right now, a bill is working its way through Oklahoma Capitol to actually get rid of daylight saving time. That bill passed a Senate committee just last month. Flu season finally winding down, but it's certainly not over yet. The latest numbers from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention show fewer people heading to the doctor with flu-like symptoms. The CDC says people are still being hospitalized for flu-like illnesses at higher than average rates. They say that it's never too late to get that flu shot. According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 15 million babies are born preterm every year, and over 1 million of those die due to complications, including hypothermia.
Circa's Natalia Anglo-Hinkson introduces us to one company that came up with a new way to keep them warm.
Lack of warmth is a real issue for millions of people around the globe. For infants born preterm, the inability to keep warm on their own can lead to health problems and even death. Enter Grace Shaw and her startup Warmaloo.
My team and I, after speaking to over 200 doctors and nurses, we developed a non-electric infant warming pack.
Infants can't shiver, which is our usual mechanism for keeping warm. Instead, they burn fat, but if too much is burned off, it can lead to developmental problems and higher risk of infection. Warmaloo's product, which is FDA approved, can generate warmth for 5 to 8 hours at safe temperatures.
We have a high concentration of the phase change material to water, and that creates a supersaturated solution. So it's currently stuck in a liquid state. But when I press this disc in the corner here, it's now changing from a clear liquid to solid. That part, this warm part, is generating warmth as we speak.
And Warmaloo sells them directly to medical device distributors who serve communities in resource-scarce areas such as Kenya, Somalia, Rwanda, and Burundi.
The reason why we do work in resource-scarce settings, this is where 75% of those deaths take place.
What started as a project on a shoestring budget, Warmaloo is now on track to saving 10,000 infant lives.
It's really rewarding to not just be able to make the innovation, but also to see it being used on patients.
For Circa, I'm Natalia Angulo-Hinkson.
If you're going to walk the dog tomorrow morning to start off the weekend, he's going to love you for it. Temperatures in the 50s. It'll be a little foggy, not too breezy, but when rain and severe storms are most likely tomorrow, the Storm Watch 7 day is straight ahead. Good evening, everybody. Not much to worry about tonight. We're going to have partly to mostly cloudy skies, as you see right here. Next weather maker actually comes in tomorrow, but when it does make a beeline for Oklahoma, most of your energy will wind up over here in parts of northeast and eastern Oklahoma. So this is where most of the rain is going to wind up tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of dry time tomorrow, but a passing shower or two is very possible, and that could mess up your plans. We'll talk about the timing and details here in just a minute, but dry skies tonight, overnight lows in the 40s and 50s, and a few 30s may even squeak into parts of northwest Oklahoma and the Panhandle. Starting off your weekend in the 50s, and that's not bad at all because morning lows are still like in the upper 30s to right around 40, the average morning low, that is. Foggy here and there, should not slow you down very much. Mostly cloudy and cool early in the morning, and then 61 at 11, and then way into the 60s tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to call that pleasant and mainly dry. Hit or miss showers are possible in parts of central, heading back towards western Oklahoma a little bit. All the cooler temperatures behind this system, by the way, really do not get here until Sunday, but with the cold front down here tomorrow afternoon and evening, this is where we have the best shot of showers and thunderstorms, any kind of severe weather over here in southeastern parts of the state. So a lot of dry time tomorrow. Now again, a little bit of wet weather here and there should not stop you from making any outdoor plans, and really not much wind tomorrow either, which is another good thing. Severe risk is really low, and it's to the southeast. If we get any at all, it'll be isolated wind and hail. And speaking of severe weather, the Severe Weather Awareness Expo is tomorrow at Penn Square Mall from 12 to 4. We're going to have the prize wheel of fun out there. You spin this thing, you win some really good goodies that we have to give out. Also, the green screen's going to be there too. The kids can mess around just like we do. So again, Penn Square Mall, tomorrow, 12 to 4. We love to have you come out. Also, storm trackers will be there as well. And most importantly, we will help you make your home safety severe plan and show you where your tornado safe spot is at. So a lot of good stuff tomorrow. 60s and 70s for afternoon highs and well into the 70s as you head south. Sunday behind the system, much cooler, windy, and then highs in the 50s on Monday and Tuesday. We get back in the 60s Wednesday and Thursday, even some 70s next Friday, and mostly dry next week.
Terrence Ferguson is still cutting. Ferguson gives up 70 pounds to Steven Adams, and they knocked heads right there.
And that right there had to hurt a whole heck of a lot. The Thunder announcing today that rookie Terrence Ferguson did indeed suffer a concussion after this collision with Steven Adams during last night's game against the Phoenix Suns. It happened late in the third quarter. Now, Ferguson has entered the NBA's concussion protocol, so there's no timetable for his return. It's different for every player. Now, in his 50 games, including 12 starts this season, he's averaging 3 points in 12 minutes. Meantime, OKC got a much-needed victory last night over Phoenix, but they got another tough one tomorrow night as they host the San Antonio Spurs. That one is going to tip off at 7:30 p.m. Now, Pau Gasol says he is 50-50 for that game. He has an AC sprain. Now, keep in mind, Oklahoma City entered tonight the 7th seed in the West. San Antonio, the 5th seed, but Oklahoma City just 1 game behind the Spurs in the loss column.
I think we've done what we're supposed to do. We play in the best league in America without question. And if people can get over the fact that they didn't think we would be any good in October with all that was going on in our program, and just open their eyes and watch what we've done and the team that played the last 2 days and the last couple of weeks, and really over the course of the season, we've done some really good work. And now I don't think it's even a question of whether we deserve the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament.
I think our resume speaks for itself. I think we had the toughest schedule, in America. We had to go to Wichita State, play there. We had to go to LA and play USC. It was a really good team. We played some Pac-12 teams in Oregon. And then we played in the toughest conference in America.
Well, Oklahoma State head coach Mike Boynton and OU freshman star Trae Young both making strong cases for why their team should be in the big dance. We'll know for sure on Sunday who's in and who's out. Now, the Sooners and Pokes both finished 8-10 in Big 12 play, so pretty evenly matched. Now, as of tonight, ESPN bracketology insider Joe Lunardi has OU as one of the last 4 in, and OSU is one of the first 4 out. So what gives the Sooners an edge over the Cowboys? He explains.
Going by the guidelines and the recent practice of the committee, in which time of year is really not relevant. In other words, we used to look at last 10 or last 12 games as a selection criteria item, and it simply isn't anymore. And then when you add up quality wins and compare it to non-conference scheduling, which is another major item for the committee, it goes in Oklahoma's favor. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with that personally.
It's going to be interesting to see how the committee interprets both of those teams. Well, hey, good news for all those Oklahoma football fans out there. The spring game is about a month away, and spring practice, if you can believe it, officially starts tomorrow morning. Oklahoma Sooners coming off an appearance in the college football playoff, and they're going to look a lot different this season, especially without the reigning Heisman winner Baker Mayfield. But as head coach Lincoln Riley says, there's a lot to look forward to every spring.
College football springs are so much fun because your roster is going to change somewhere, every year. Some areas not as much as others. Sometimes it's this position group, that position group, but all in all, it's still a new team. And so excited to see how this new group starts to come together. Got a ton of position battles that will get underway here this spring that are going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, one of those, the most important of all of them, would be replacing the Heisman winner quarterback Baker Mayfield, that QB battle between Kyler Murray and Austin Kendall. Now, we will be allowed to shoot those first 30 minutes of practice tomorrow. Now, Kyler Murray also plays baseball, hit a grand slam tonight to put his Sooners up 11-6 over Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Right now, the Sooners lead 11-7 in the bottom of the 8th. That's going to do it for sports.
Chuck Schumer voted against a judicial nominee because of the color of that person's skin. I'm not kidding or making it up. Senator Schumer publicly announced that he would be voting no on the nomination of Marvin Quattlebaum to be a U.S. District Judge because Judge Quattlebaum is white. Schumer is calling for more diversity among federal court judges. I'm on board with that. Our country's diversity is one of its many strengths. The federal judges who are nominated should be representative of that diversity. Of course, they also have to be well qualified. The problem is that Chuck Schumer went too far. Honestly, I don't think he believes what he said. There's no reason that Judge Quattlebaum, who was confirmed over Schumer's objection, should not be on the federal district court in South Carolina. The judge was president of the South Carolina State Bar. He is extremely qualified. In slamming this nomination, Chuck Schumer was just playing politics and trying to please the far left wing of the Democrat Party. That is dangerous. Taking any political position to the extreme can result in hate and violence. Senator Schumer and his colleagues should call on the Trump administration to nominate more well-qualified judges of diverse races and backgrounds. What they definitely should not do is oppose the confirmation of a qualified judge just because he is a white man. Here's the bottom line. Judging someone on the color of their skin is racism, no matter what the color is. We as a country should progress by celebrating people of all backgrounds and not putting anyone down because of their race.